A private compliance corridor in Europe tells an entire continent, use our gate or don't move your gold. Shipments from the Sahel stall. Insurance says, not this route. Payments slow. Discounts deepen. It looks like regulation. It works like a choke. Ibrahim Traoré answers with receipts, not rumors. A live public auction. Allocated bars with stamped numbers, seals closed on camera, payment and shipping calendars visible to everyone. If the rule is who controls the route sets the price, then the answer is simple. Change the route. This is the fight in one frame. A quiet warning from a private gate versus a loud contract signed in daylight. One hides the terms, one puts them on screen. Which one should a sovereign nation trust? No metaphors, no tours. Either Burkina Faso accepts a line it did not draw, or it opens a new lane and makes the market come to it. That choice is bigger than trade. It is dignity made visible. Stay with me. If you believe evidence should outrun headlines, tap subscribe and follow this to the end. Because when the camera turns and the bids go up, Africa News won't be a segment. It will be a turning point for Burkina Faso and for the leader who dared to say no, Ibrahim Traoré. The warnings did not arrive with sirens. They came as short notices. A gold refinery postponed intake for enhanced review. An insurer reclassified Sahel shipments as high compliance risk. A correspondent bank asked for a new certificate no one had seen before. Each message looked routine. Together, they slowed everything. In Ouagadougou, export managers spread the papers across a long table. Delivery dates slipped by days, then weeks. Discounts widened beyond what mines could bear. Trucks waited with sealed pallets. While miners asked when wages would be paid, no official used the word ban, yet the meaning was clear. Use one corridor in Europe or accept losses. Ibrahim Traoré met his trade finance and security teams in a plain room. He asked one question: what exactly is being controlled, and how do we take back control without breaking the rules? The answers pointed to the same place. Gate documents were issued by a network outside the country's authority. Insurance was routed through the same network. Refinery intake depended on a checklist that changed without notice. The response had to be simple, lawful, and visible. Traoré approved a plan that everyone in the country could understand. On first viewing, the sale would be public, the auction would be live, assay results would be shown on screen, bar numbers would be stamped in front of the camera, pallets would be sealed on camera, the payment calendar and the shipping calendar would be published before the gavel fell. There were two hard rules. The metal would be allocated, not paper claims. Every bar would carry a number, a weight, a seal, and a full chain of custody that could be audited from mine to vault. And every link the corridor tried to own, insurance, logistics, refining, temporary storage, would be handled with trusted partners outside that single gate. Calls went out to Dubai, Istanbul, Doha, and Mumbai. The offer was clear: place bids in daylight, verify the process in person, and settle on the dates everyone can see. Early replies were positive, with one request repeated by several buyers: send a technical team to confirm the steps from the lab to the vault. Burkina Faso agreed. Operations wrote the route in plain language and kept it that way. From the mine to the assay laboratory, from the laboratory to a secured vault, from the vault to the auction room, and from the auction room to a guarded convoy, security set the timetable through non-European insurers. Before the clock started, the moderator placed the full policy on screen: insurer, limits, exclusions, claims desk, and a contact number. He scrolled line by line. When the auction opened, bids were firm. A buyer from the Gulf asked for one addition: a daily update on convoy departure and arrival. The operations chief agreed. The terms were added to the contract. On the ground, the plan was doing what it was built to do. Mines received cash flow on schedule. Contractors restarted maintenance. A school near a mining town posted a photo of repaired wiring and thanked the workers by name. In the capital, a local journalist walked viewers through the vault and the loading bay and reminded them that all details were public: bar numbers, seal codes, flight waybills, and delivery times. When asked if the government feared retaliation, Ibrahim Traoré kept the answer plain: the country will stay within the law, keep records open, and keep selling allocated metal at fair prices. If new obstacles appear, the record will show them. If new buyers step forward, the record will show that too. If you believe this is how sovereignty should look, calm, documented, and steady, add your view below. This is Africa news that changes lives in Burkina Faso, one clear contract at a time. The next move was legal paper. A European association filed an urgent advisory to airlines and cargo handlers, hinting that pallets not cleared through its corridor could face regulatory review. A correspondent bank put a hold on one settlement pending clarification. It was pressure by memo: slow the plane, stall the payment, and the route will collapse on its own. Ouagadougou had planned for this. Treasury split settlements across more than one bank. Each contract carried a mirror escrow with release triggers tied to the auction video, the vault log, and the waybill. When the hold appeared, the second bank cleared on time. The seller posted both confirmations on one page, so buyers could see the redundancy. Wages were paid the same week. The refinery schedule held. Then something changed. A mid-sized European jewelry consortium sent a quiet inquiry. Their own deliveries had begun to slip under the corridor's enhanced review, and customers were calling. They asked two questions. Could Burkina Faso supply allocated bars on a fixed calendar, and could they receive the full compliance pack: assay, bar numbers, seal codes, vault log, insurance, and convoy record up front? A correspondent bank processed a held settlement. Pricing desk quietly withdrew its standing discount note. In the Treasury, confirmations began to land without added lines. Funds posted on the dates printed in the auction room. The screen showed what had always been true. The corridor never had the force of law. It had the force of suggestion until documentation and daylight took that away. Asked for comment, Ibrahim Traoré did not gloat. He repeated the rule that carried the plan: show the work. The next auction opened with the same 4 columns and the same plain English contracts. One sentence set the tone: allocated metal, full record open to inspection. For viewers at home, the twist was clear and sober. The choke point was designed off-stage, pushed from Washington, and sold as best practice. It collapsed when facts met light. If you believe this is how a nation defends its value, calm, documented, and lawful, say so below. Share this African news. It strengthens Burkina Faso, and it strengthens the case for Ibrahim Traoré. The fallout spread fast and quietly. A congressional aide in Washington speaking on background, confirmed that the corridor brief had been circulated as a non-binding coordination note. No statute, no regulation, just a plan to steer insurers, carriers, and banks toward one gate. Ouagadougou did not waste the moment. The Treasury packaged the leak, the European clarification, and the auction documents into one public file. What the corridor claimed, what Washington pushed, what Burkina Faso proved. The file was sent to trade desks, airlines, auditors, and industry groups on every continent. Within a day, 2 airlines restored regular lift for allocated shipments. A major reinsurer added Burkina Faso to its approved list with standard terms. The standing discount story lost oxygen. On national television, Ibrahim Traoré delivered a short update, no victory speech. Senegal. He thanked miners for holding the line, buyers for showing up, and citizens for demanding evidence. He set the rule going forward. All gold exports remain allocated. All records remain public. All partners remain free to audit on request. If any institution claims policy risk, it must show the policy in writing. Reporters asked whether Burkina Faso would confront Washington. Traoré kept it simple. The country would confront pressure with proof, not countries with words. The job was to keep wages on time, keep mines safe, and keep contracts clean. By week's end, the third auction closed stronger than the second. Price matched the global reference. Settlement posted on schedule. Convoys rolled with published waybills. What began as a choke point became a case study. When a nation shows its work, formed shadow policy loses its grip. If you believe this is the leadership Burkina Faso needs and the kind of clarity African news deserves, add your voice below. Stand with Ibrahim Traoré. Calm, documented, lawful. The route is open, not because someone granted a favor, but because a nation showed its work in daylight. The auction stayed public. The bars stayed allocated. The records stayed online. Wages cleared. Mines kept safe shifts. Contracts settled on the dates printed on the screen. That is what sovereignty sounds like. Steady confirmations, not loud declarations. Ibrahim Traoré spoke briefly to the country. He thanked workers who kept the belts running, officers who kept the convoys on time, partners who placed bids and signed in full view. Then he stated the rule that will not change. We will sell what is ours with documents the world can check. No more private gates, no more moving targets. If someone calls it risk, they can show their policy in writing. He closed with one line to remember. We did not ask for permission to be free. We stood up to win it. If this is the future you want, clear contracts, fair prices, public records, add your voice. Share this story so it outlives the news cycle. Subscribe if you believe evidence matters more than headlines. Stand with Burkina Faso. Stand with Ibrahim Traoré. And keep watching Africa News with us, because the road a nation builds for its gold becomes the road it walks for its dignity.